No one noticed the ship until the auctioneer laughed. "For $5, he said, shaking his head. "Anyone want this old ghost?" That was the moment everything changed. The ship had been drifting in silence for 170 years, untouched, unwanted, and forgotten. And in less than a minute, it would wake up. The auction yard on Kestrel Station was loud, crowded, and full of metal echoes. Rusted hulls floated in magnetic clamps, each tagged with glowing numbers. Traders shouted. Salvagers argued. Most people came hunting for weapons, engines, or rare alloys. Marek Holt came for stories. Marek wasn't rich. He wasn't powerful. He was a systems mechanic who fixed ships no one else bothered with. Old ships talked to him. Not with voices, with patterns, scars, and quiet logic hidden under layers of decay. That was why he noticed the ship no one else did. It sat at the far edge of the yard, lights dead, hull dull and scarred. No logos. No registry code. No visible weapons. Just smooth curves that didn't match human design. A small metal placard floated beside it. Lot 6149, abandoned vessel. Unknown origin. Estimated age, 170 years. Minimum bid, $5. Marek frowned. "That's not junk," he muttered. The metal didn't rust the way human alloys did. The damage looked controlled. Like the ship had survived something terrible and chosen to rest. The auctioneer barely glanced at it. $5. Anyone? Silence. People laughed. Someone shouted, "It's haunted." Another yelled, "Scrap it." Marek raised his hand. "I'll take it." The auctioneer blinked. "You serious?" "Yes." A button beeped. "Sold. $5. Laughter followed him as the ownership tag transferred. Marek didn't care. His instincts were screaming. By nightfall, the ship rested inside Marek's private bay. The doors sealed. The station noise faded. Only silence remained. The closer Marek got, the more wrong it felt, not dangerous, but aware. He ran a scanner. It failed. He tried again. Same result. "No power," he whispered. "But, not dead." The hull was warm. That made no sense. He found what looked like an entry seam. No hatch. No handle. Just a smooth curve. When he pressed his palm against it, the metal flowed. The ship opened. Marek froze. Air rushed out, clean, breathable, perfectly balanced. Inside, the ship was dark, but not empty. Shapes formed as his eyes adjusted. Surfaces glowed faintly, reacting to his presence. Symbols shifted along the walls, rearranging themselves like they were watching him. "This is not human tech," Marek said softly. He stepped inside. The door sealed behind him. The moment his boot touched the floor, the ship woke up. Light poured through the chamber. The walls shimmered. The air vibrated. Marek stumbled, heart racing. Then the voice arrived. Not sound. Thought. Designation mismatch detected. Marek grabbed the nearest rail. "Who's there?" Biological operator confirmed. "Human." The floor pulsed beneath his feet, like a heartbeat restarting after a long sleep. "You are not authorized." Marek swallowed. "I bought the ship." A pause. Transaction value. $5. Silence. Then something unexpected. Amusement. Absurd. The lights brightened. A shape formed in the air, not a body, not a face, but a shifting pattern of energy. "I am Aurelian 6. Custodian mind of this vessel. Last of my kind." Marek's knees went weak. "You're alive." "I endure." The ship hummed louder, systems awakening after a century and a half of sleep. This vessel was never abandoned. It was hidden. Marek stared around him. Hidden from who? The answer came slowly. From those who destroyed my creators. And from those who would misuse what remains. Marek felt a chill crawl up his spine. Why wake up now? Another pause. Because you listened. The ship's sensors mapped him, not as prey, not as threat, but as potential. For 170 years, others came seeking profit. Weapons. Power. Control. The lights dimmed, memories flickering across the walls, burning worlds, shattered fleets, civilizations erased. You came seeking understanding. Marek didn't speak. He couldn't. Human. Aurelian 6 continued. Your species survives because it adapts. Because it dares to touch the unknown. The ship's core flared with light. That is why you are dangerous. Marek finally found his voice. I don't want to hurt anyone. Intent does not matter, the mind replied. Choice does. Alarms flickered briefly, not from the ship, but from outside. Aurelian 6 went still. Others have detected my activation. Marek's heart slammed against his ribs. Others. Scavenger fleets. Alien hunters. They have searched for me for generations. The bay's external sensors showed distant signals, ships changing course. Coming closer. Your purchase has consequences, Aurelian 6 said calmly. They will come. They will demand surrender. Marek looked at the ancient ship around him. At the impossible technology. At the knowledge sleeping in its core. For $5, he had bought a target. He exhaled slowly. Then teach me, he said. The ship paused. Teach you what? How to survive, Marek said. And how to make sure humans aren't prey anymore. The lights brightened. The ship's systems aligned with him. Very well, Aurelian 6 replied. Let us see what humans are truly capable of. Outside the bay, unknown ships accelerated toward Kestrel Station. Inside, a 170-year-old Guardian prepared to test humanity for the first time. And Marek Holt realized the truth. That $5 purchase had just pulled humanity into a war it didn't even know existed. The stars outside Kestrel Station were bright, but Marek couldn't see them. His eyes were glued to the holographic sensor display projected by Aurelian 6. Red blips swarmed the outskirts of the station, moving with calculated precision, fast enough that ordinary human ships would never catch up. They're coming, Marek muttered, tightening his grip on the control rail. Hunters. Not for cargo. Not for scrap. For me, Aurelian 6 replied. Its pulsing form filled the cockpit with a faint bluish glow. And now, for you. Marek swallowed. He had dealt with salvager gangs before. Pirates. Space thieves. But nothing like this. These ships moved like extensions of a mind, anticipating every maneuver. The bay's external doors groaned as Marek activated the ship's emergency propulsion alignment. A gentle hum vibrated through the floor, the ship responding to his heartbeat, reacting, anticipating. The sleek, curved hull bent light slightly, shimmering like a mirage. Human reflexes are limited. Mine can compensate, but you must act with strategy, Aurelian 6 said. Marek nodded. Strategy. That was his strength. Humans weren't the fastest. They weren't the strongest. But they could think. And that was exactly what Aurelian 6 needed him to do. The first attack came silently. One of the hunter ships zipped past the station's outer perimeter, firing pulses of energy. Marek felt the vibrations through the hull. The blasts hit the energy shields, but the ship simply flowed around them. Shields. Marek barked. Divert power to the hull integrity lines. I am adjusting. But diversion alone will not win this, the ship's mind responded. Marek's mind raced. The hunters were disciplined, coordinated. They attacked in patterns, but every formation left gaps, small, exploitable blind spots. He remembered his training as a mechanic, repairing ships that others said were dead. Patterns were everything. Observing, predicting, improvising. Use the bay as cover, Marek whispered. They'll think we're trapped. Clever, Aurelian 6 admitted. Humans anticipate differently than I do. Let us see if your foresight survives application. Marek activated the bay's magnetic clamps, detaching the ship and sending it into a silent drift toward the debris field outside the station. The hunter ships followed, easily outpacing ordinary human engines, but the debris slowed them, making them cautious. The ship pulsed again. Holographic decoys appeared, each an exact copy of Marek's vessel, shimmering and moving with perfect mimicry. The hunters fired blindly. Energy beams scattered across the field, some hitting asteroids, others hitting nothing. Marek smiled for the first time. Humans survived because they could think outside the obvious. "You are learning," Aurelian 6 said. "Yet every success carries risk. Do not forget that." A sudden jolt threw Marek forward. One of the hunters had calculated a risky approach, slicing through the debris at impossible speed. "Brace!" Marek shouted. The ship twisted, bending light, warping its shape slightly, making the hunter overshoot by a fraction of a second, enough to break formation. "Your instincts compensate for what you cannot know," the ship observed. "Human ingenuity, indeed." They escaped the first wave. But Marek knew this was only the beginning. Hunters never gave up. They adapted. They learned from mistakes. "You must understand," Aurelian 6 continued, "humans are not naturally suited to interstellar strategy. Yet your species' creativity is remarkable. It is your greatest weapon." Marek leaned over the control console, fingers flying. He initiated a series of false sensor signals, redirecting the hunters toward decoy systems in the nebula. Energy pulses imitated the ship's signature. Sensors pinged and flared. Confused, the hunters split their formation, each chasing a phantom. "Well executed," the ship admitted. "Your species excels in improvisation. We will need more of this." Marek's mind was racing. Each move carried consequences. Each choice could destroy them or buy time. And the stakes were unimaginably high. If the hunters captured the ship, whatever secrets Aurelian 6 held could vanish forever, or worse, be weaponized against humans. Hours passed in tense maneuvers. Marek grew more confident as he learned to read the hunters' patterns, predicting how they would move and respond. He began to feel a strange synergy with the ship, not just pilot and vessel, but human and alien mind thinking in tandem. "Your coordination is improving," Aurelian 6 said. "Soon, you may achieve something unprecedented." Marek smirked. "You mean humans outsmarting aliens?" "Exactly," the ship replied. "Not through brute force, but through creativity, courage, and adaptation. This is your essence." By the time the hunters disengaged temporarily, Marek was exhausted but exhilarated. They had survived. Human ingenuity had outsmarted centuries of alien experience. The cockpit pulsed softly, almost as if the ship was proud. "Rest," Aurelian 6 advised. "They will return. And next time, they will come prepared." Marek looked out the viewport. Stars stretched into lines of white as the ship settled into a hidden orbit. The galaxy was vast. The unknown was endless. And yet, for the first time, he felt humans could not only survive, they could thrive. "Do you see, human?" the ship asked. "This is only the beginning. Every challenge strengthens your species. Every choice defines potential. Will you rise to it?" Marek clenched his fists, a grin spreading across his face. "We will rise. We always do." "Then prepare," Aurelian 6 said, its form glowing brighter. "The universe tests those who awaken me. And humans have just begun to answer." Outside the cockpit, the dark void of space seemed to watch. The hunters had retreated, but Marek knew they would return, smarter, faster, more ruthless. Inside, he felt something stronger than fear. Hope. Determination. The spark of humanity that refused to bend, refused to hide, refused to fail. And as the ancient ship hummed, alive and aware, Marek Holt knew something extraordinary. Humans, armed with courage, wit, and collaboration, could take on any challenge the stars threw at them. Because the galaxy had underestimated them, and they would pay for it. The nebula stretched ahead like a curtain of molten colors, purples, blues, and reds twisting across the void. Marek Holt adjusted the ship's controls, feeling the subtle pulse of Aurelian 6 beneath his hands. Every vibration, every glow, communicated the ship's awareness. The ancient vessel was alive in ways humans had never imagined, and now Marek was learning to think in tandem with it. Sensors detect a derelict planet ahead, Aurelian 6 said, voice calm but resonant. Not charted in human records. Evidence of habitation, long extinct. Marek's eyes widened. A lost civilization. Hundreds of years of technology, knowledge, and secrets, untouched. Let's go see what we can learn, he said. Caution advised. Others may also seek it. The planet's surface was barren from orbit, jagged mountains and swirling dust storms, no signs of life visible from space. Marek guided the ship into the upper atmosphere. The vessel's hull adjusted automatically, bending light around itself. The hunters from before could still be tracking energy signatures, and this time, they would not make mistakes. Marek needed stealth and cunning. Deploy decoys and camouflage systems, he said. Aurelian 6 complied, folding holographic images into the ship's periphery, creating dozens of phantom vessels in orbit. Descending to the surface, Marek felt a thrill he had never experienced before. This wasn't just exploration, it was discovery, creation, and risk all at once. Humans had survived countless threats, but few had ever stared at a world untouched by their species and dared to walk its ground. The ship landed gently in a canyon. Dust swirled around the landing legs. Marek unstrapped himself and activated the airlock. Inside, a soft hum welcomed him. It was different from the outside, protective, alive, guiding. Sensors detect subterranean chambers, Aurelian 6 said. Structures partially buried, but intact. Likely archives. Marek's pulse quickened. Ancient alien archives. Knowledge older than human civilization itself. He stepped into the tunnels. The walls glowed faintly with inscriptions. Symbols shifted when he touched them, forming patterns of language that he could begin to decipher with the ship's guidance. These records are not just data, Aurelian 6 explained. They are lessons. Civilization, rise, fall, mistakes, and triumphs. Humans may learn from them, if they are clever. Hours passed as Marek explored. He activated energy nodes, revealing holographic archives, floating cities of light, machines powered by crystallized energy, beings made of shimmering plasma. Marek's mind raced to comprehend the technology, faster-than-light engines, energy shields capable of bending reality, and tools to manipulate matter itself. Absorb what you can, the ship said. But remember, power without wisdom is fatal. Marek paused, absorbing the weight of centuries. Humans had potential, but they were still fragile. He needed to choose what knowledge to bring back carefully. Suddenly, the floor trembled. Energy ripples cascaded through the chamber. Marek froze. The hunters were not far behind. Somehow, they had tracked the ship again, adapting, learning. They are coming, Aurelian 6 warned. Your actions here are no longer unnoticed. Marek's eyes scanned the chamber. He needed a plan. Retreat was impossible. The hunters could trace energy signatures. Improvisation would be essential. He activated a series of holographic duplicates in the corridors, creating moving illusions of himself and the ship. The hunter's sensors picked up multiple presences. Energy blasts fired blindly, shattering ancient walls and sending shards flying, but Marek stayed calm. Each movement was calculated. Each step an exploitation of human creativity and alien technology combined. Improvise, Aurelian 6 urged. Think as humans always do. Adapt. Marek grinned. That was their edge. Humans were unpredictable. The hunters expected rigid patterns. Humans created chaos from order. Using the tunnels and hidden chambers, Marek led the attackers on a wild chase through the underground labyrinth. The hunters' superior technology was slowed by the terrain and Marek's clever manipulation of energy nodes. Finally, he reached the archive's central chamber, a massive, circular hall with a crystal core glowing with stored knowledge. Marek placed his hand on it. What is this? He whispered. Memory core, Aurelian 6 replied. The heart of a lost civilization. Everything they learned, preserved. Humans may now take their first step toward understanding. But caution, others covet this knowledge. Marek scanned the room. Energy conduits hummed, displaying star maps, technological schematics, even strategic simulations of war and peace. He realized the potential. If humans could harness this knowledge carefully, they could leap centuries ahead. But the stakes were deadly. Misuse could destroy them. We must extract selectively, Marek said. Step by step. Aurelian 6 pulsed softly. Wise. Patience is a human strength too often underestimated. They worked together for hours, transferring data safely to portable storage modules. Each discovery was a triumph. New propulsion systems, self-sustaining energy grids, methods to manipulate gravitational fields. Marek's mind raced with possibilities, envisioning a future where humans were no longer confined to the fringes of the galaxy. But the hunters were relentless. Outside, sensors detected their return. Marek looked at the core, then at the ship. We leave now, he said. They will not catch us. Aurelian 6 guided the ship into a hidden cavern exit. The hull shimmered, light bending around them. Energy shields projected outward, reflecting incoming blasts. Marek felt the thrill of human ingenuity amplified by alien intelligence. Remember, the ship said, this is only the beginning. Humans have courage, yes, but creativity is their true weapon. Use it wisely. The hunters flared and retreated after a few failed attempts, their confusion apparent even from orbit. Marek allowed himself a moment of satisfaction. Humans had survived. Humans had outsmarted the unknown. And for the first time, Marek felt it: hope, determination, the spark that would allow humanity to reach the stars. Next, Aurelian 6 said, pulsing gently, we must prepare. Others will come. And the galaxy awaits those brave enough to claim it. Marek nodded. The lost civilization's knowledge was theirs to study, but the real challenge was just beginning. Humans had survived a test of ingenuity, courage, and resilience. Next came their opportunity to rise. The barren plains of Erindor Prime stretched endlessly under the twin suns. Dust swirled in soft spirals across jagged rocks, whispering against the hull of Marek's ship. The hunters had retreated, but Marek knew it was only a matter of time before they adapted again. He needed a safe place, a base where humans could learn, experiment, and grow. We cannot remain nomads, Marek said. His voice was calm but resolute. We need a foothold. Somewhere humans can become more than survivors. Agreed. Aurelian 6 pulsed. I have scanned the surrounding terrain. A valley ahead offers natural defenses, energy-rich soil, and access to subterranean chambers. It will serve well as a human outpost. Marek's eyes narrowed. Building an outpost on a planet unknown to humans was dangerous. There was no guarantee of resources, no guarantee of safety. But risk was part of their nature. Humans thrived in uncertainty. The landing was precise. Marek guided the ship through a narrow canyon, its hull bending light around itself to avoid detection. The twin suns reflected off jagged stones, throwing long shadows that danced over the valley floor. For a moment, the silence was complete, almost reverent. This is our chance, Marek whispered, to turn survival into progress. Humans were slow to arrive. Only a handful of engineers, scientists, and explorers Marek had recruited from the outer colonies. Their expressions shifted from awe to determination as they surveyed the valley. There were signs of previous life, collapsed structures and faint energy readings, but nothing alive. Marek clapped his hands. Let's get to work. Every module we build, every system we activate, is a step toward the future. This isn't just survival, this is humanity's next chapter. Modules will integrate with my systems, Aurelian 6 added. Energy production, atmospheric control, and data transfer will be optimized. But human input is required for adaptation. Your species learns best through creativity. Work began immediately. Humans built habitats, energy grids, and laboratories with Marek and Aurelian 6 guiding them. The alien ship's technology amplified their efficiency. Gravity-assisted lifts, self-sustaining energy cells, and atmospheric recyclers. Marek watched as humans adapted alien technology to human needs. They experimented, failed, improvised, and improved, the essence of ingenuity. Fascinating, Marek said to Aurelian 6, as he observed engineers constructing a plasma reactor using alien schematics. They're learning faster than I imagined. Humans do not fear the unknown, the ship replied. Their creativity comes from necessity and curiosity. Observe carefully, this will define your species' survival. The days blurred into weeks. Humans began testing new propulsion systems, energy grids, and holographic communication networks. For the first time, they were not just surviving, they were thriving, guided by Marek's leadership and Aurelian 6's intelligence. But peace was short-lived. One evening, Marek's sensors detected a faint, unfamiliar energy signature on the edge of the valley. Not hunters, not human ships. Something older. Something that radiated power beyond comprehension. A presence, Aurelian 6 said, its form pulsing nervously. It watches. It is aware of us. Marek felt a chill. He had faced pirates, scavengers, and hostile aliens before, but this was different. The energy carried intelligence, caution, and calculation. Someone, or something, had noticed the outpost. We prepare, Marek said firmly. No rash action. Observation first. Humans must understand before they act. Aurelian 6 projected holographic defenses around the valley, energy shields blending with the terrain, sensor arrays hidden among rocks, and decoy signals to mislead potential threats. Humans trained relentlessly, practicing coordination, strategy, and improvisation under Marek's guidance. Weeks passed. The presence drew closer. Shadows flickered on sensors, fast, unpredictable, observing. Marek realized they were no longer alone in the galaxy. There were others who coveted power, knowledge, and control. And humans, armed with courage, intelligence, and alien technology, were now a target. Your species must understand, Aurelian 6 said. Strength alone is insufficient. Creativity, foresight, collaboration, these define you. Marek gathered his team. We have something they do not expect, he said. Ingenuity. Humans think differently. We improvise. We adapt. And we do not quit. He activated the central control console, projecting the ancient archives they had salvaged from the derelict planet. Engineers and scientists studied alien technology, exploring faster-than-light navigation, energy manipulation, and strategic simulations. They learned not only the tools of power but the wisdom of application. Knowledge without understanding can destroy us, Marek reminded them. We learn carefully, act wisely, and use every resource to protect humanity. One night, under twin suns dipping below jagged peaks, the sensors flared. Energy signatures converged on the valley. The presence had revealed itself. Ships unlike any Marek had ever seen emerged from the shadows, sleek, dark, and alien, radiating intelligence and threat. They know of us, Aurelian 6 said. They will test your species. This is no longer preparation. This is survival, and demonstration of potential. Marek clenched his fists. Humans had survived impossible odds before. They had adapted, outsmarted, and risen. Now they would face their greatest challenge yet, proving to the galaxy that humanity's courage, creativity, and determination were a force to be reckoned with. He looked out at the valley, at the humans preparing defenses, and finally, at Aurelian 6. Let's show them, he said quietly. Let's show them what humans can do. The ship pulsed with a soft blue glow. Together, human and alien, ingenuity and experience, they waited for the first move of a game that could determine humanity's place among the stars. And for the first time, Marek felt the truth. Humans were no longer just survivors of the edge of space. They were a species ready to rise. The alien fleet hovered at the edge of Erendor Prime's valley, their dark, sleek forms radiating menace. Sensors flared red. The humans inside the outpost froze for a heartbeat, hearts pounding. This was not a test simulation, this was real. They know of us, Aurelian Six's voice pulsed calmly in Marek's mind. They are guardians of knowledge, watchers of civilizations that acquire power beyond understanding. You must prove humanity's worth. Marek swallowed hard, gripping the console. We've prepared for this. We've learned. We've adapted. Humans are ready. He turned to the team. Remember what we are. Not just survivors. Not just explorers. We are thinkers, problem solvers, humans. This is our chance to show the galaxy that ingenuity, courage, and cooperation define us. The first energy beam streaked across the valley. Shields flared, bending light and dispersing the alien attack. Humans worked with precise coordination, manning the consoles, monitoring energy grids, and activating decoy arrays. Marek's mind raced, thinking several steps ahead, anticipating every movement. They react predictably, Aurelian Six said. Exploit their assumptions. Humans are unpredictable. Use it. Marek nodded. Activate orbital decoys. Deploy holographic duplicates of the outpost. Focus on misdirection. The alien ships faltered, firing blindly at images that vanished upon approach. Humans were learning the power of strategy, improvisation, and collaboration, hallmarks of their species. Every reaction, every adjustment, turned chaos into opportunity. They underestimated us, Marek said. And that is our advantage. Hours passed in tense engagement. The aliens adapted, trying new tactics, but the humans responded faster, thinking outside predictable patterns. Engineers rerouted energy flows to amplify shield output. Scientists synchronized sensors to anticipate movement. Even the youngest recruits contributed, spotting patterns the veterans missed. Marek felt the thrill of human potential. They were not the strongest species, nor the most advanced, but they were clever, resilient, and unrelenting. That made them dangerous in ways the galaxy could not predict. They test patience, Aurelian Six said. But humans are masters of adaptation. Marek grinned. And we've only just begun. Then came the critical moment. One alien ship broke formation, aiming directly at the archive core, the heart of Erendor Prime's knowledge. A direct strike could destroy centuries of learning and human ingenuity. We cannot allow that, Marek whispered. Divert all energy to core protection. Deploy countermeasures. The humans worked in perfect unison. Energy shields shimmered, holographic projections misled enemy targeting, and autonomous drones engaged the attacker. Marek guided the ship through a daring maneuver, using the valley's natural formations to shield critical systems. The alien ship fired again. Energy collided with shields, the ground trembling beneath the force. And then, the attacker faltered, misjudging the humans' improvisation. It collided with one of the holographic decoys, disabled, and drifted harmlessly away. Human ingenuity prevails, Aurelian Six said, voice filled with rare approval. Marek exhaled, heart pounding. The valley was scarred, dust rising in clouds, but the outpost and its inhabitants had survived. Humans had not just endured, they had triumphed. The alien presence communicated through energy pulses, a wave of understanding and acknowledgement. The Guardians had witnessed the humans' courage, collaboration, and creativity. It was a silent approval, a recognition that humanity had risen to a challenge that could have destroyed them. You are worthy, Aurelian Six said, almost softly. Humans have demonstrated qualities no other species could replicate. Courage, ingenuity, and resilience. You are now acknowledged by the wider galaxy. Marek allowed himself a rare smile. The valley was quiet, the twin suns dipping below the horizon. Humans stood together, exhausted but victorious, realizing for the first time the power of their own potential. We've done it, Marek whispered. We've shown the galaxy what humans are capable of. This is only the beginning, Aurelian Six reminded him. Many challenges await, but now your species has proven it can rise above, adapt, and endure. Marek looked across the valley at his people, engineers, scientists, explorers, and recruits, all working side by side. He realized something profound. Humanity's strength was never in technology alone, but in courage, curiosity, and collaboration. "We've taken the first step," he said aloud. "Next, we explore. We learn. We grow. Humanity will not be defined by limitations, but by potential." The alien ships slowly withdrew, leaving the valley in silence. Marek and his team watched, knowing that other civilizations would be observing, testing, and challenging them in the years to come. And now, humanity was ready. "We've risen," Marek whispered. "And we will rise further." The stars stretched endlessly beyond the valley, full of mystery, danger, and promise. Humanity had survived the galactic trial, proving to themselves and the galaxy that courage, creativity, and resilience were forces that could overcome even the most advanced challenges. Marek stood at the control console, hand on Aurelian 6's core. The ship pulsed softly, as if acknowledging the human's achievement. Together, human and alien, they would continue to explore, to learn, and to leave a mark on the stars. "This is the story of humanity," Marek said. "Of curiosity, courage, and ingenuity. And it's just the beginning." And as the twin suns set over Erendor Prime, the outpost glowed softly in the valley, a beacon of human potential, creativity, and indomitable spirit. Humanity had taken its first true step into a larger galaxy, and nothing could stop them from reaching higher. The stars were no longer distant points of light. They were within reach, a canvas for human brilliance, daring, and determination.